Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked CM Punk to no, I didn't. All right, Gabriella Fernandes. She is 29 years old, 8-2 as a pro, and she's giving up 3 inches of height and 3.5 inches of reach to 21-year-old Tereza Bleda, who has a record of 6-1 as a pro, and 5-0 as an amateur, and like 3-0 as an exhibitionist or whatever. Gabriella, her 8 wins come 3 by knockout, 2 by submission, 3 by decision, and her 2 losses are both by decision. She lost to Jasmine Jasdavicius in her last fight, and this really capable fighter, Maria Silva, who I expect to see soon enough in the UFC. And that was a split decision. She's only lost to really good fighters, never been finished, and she's beaten some good fighters along the way. She beat both these girls, Tereza Bleda and Gabriella, beat 2 of the same opponents. Carolina Martins, Gabriella got her out of there with a guillotine in round 2 in the LFA. And Edna Oliveira, Gabriella was just stalking her. She's a smaller girl, and Gabriella was really beating her up and then just slammed her with kicks and beat her down with a body shot, actually. Put her down with a body shot, ground and pound, and that was it. So solid victories. They both have wins over those girls. I'll get into Bleda's wins in a few minutes. But her debut, Gabriella Fernandes, it's probably her biggest victory to date, and it's a win over Yasmin Lucindo. Yasmin Lucindo was on top of her, looked like she was going to maul her, and she reversed her with a triangle choke, and then kept that triangle, mounted her with the triangle, and pounded the shit out of her. She pretty much just reversed her with a triangle and pounded her. It was an excellent victory, even if it's over a very inexperienced and young Lucindo. Still, not a bad way to win. And actually, Lucindo had more fights at that point. I think Lucindo had like 4 fights, and that was Gabriella's debut. So really, a great win. Great win for Gabriella. Her finishes come 1 in round 1, 2 in round 2, and 2 in round 3. She's gotten it done in all 3 rounds. Actually, I think that might be bullshit, because Sherdog had, I think it's 3 in round 2 and 1 in round 3. Sherdog had that body shot TKO victory over Edna Oliveira listed as a round 3, but it's really round 2. Or it might be the opposite. I don't know. But they got it wrong, whatever it was. Gabriella's a good striker, really good striker on the feet. She's powerful, you can see, and she's got physicality to her, which is why I was picking her to beat Jasmine Jasdavicius. I thought she was slow, and if she did tie up with Gabriella, she wouldn't be able to take her down as easily because Gabriella is big and strong and thick. But she succumbed to the takedowns there, though. Here, though, I do think she could, survive a little better. Tereza Bleda is just as big as Jasmine, and she's a very physical fighter, really physical, and one of those young, hungry fighters who's willing to make mistakes just to fucking run through you. But she's definitely less of a technical fighter, and certainly a technical wrestler than Jasmine Jasdavicius. So I think Gabriella's got a little more room to play with defensively. She can, let her strikes go and everything else a little more against Bleda. But she's got to mind her P's and Q's with Bleda, because Bleda is a problem if she gets on top. She has a record of 6-1. She's got 2 wins via knockout, 2 via submission, 2 wins via decision. Every one of those wins comes on the ground. The TKOs, the submissions, obviously, or, sometimes they're on the feet, I guess. I don't know. But all of her wins come on the ground. She's a monster on top. If this girl gets on top of you and she achieves the full mount, I remember saying this the last time, she's like Luke Rockhold. She's got such a deadly top game. It's not like she's got the most refined jiu-jitsu. It's all very raw, but she's a big physical beast, gigantic for this weight class, and she's really heavy and strong on top. Sometimes she overcommits. She's a really good, I shouldn't say really good, but she's got some slick grappling, and she'll overcommit to submissions and be swept, lose position. And we've seen a little of that with Natalia Silva. But I think Bleda, if she fights more conservatively, she is so heavy on top. I see her getting a lot of late TKO finishes or submission finishes, but finishes down the stretch on opponents that can't handle her being on top for too long. But remains to be seen how she's going to develop as a fighter. She's 21, still learning, and Presumably, she learned a lot in that one loss, which comes to Natalia Silva. That was a third round spinning back kick right on the head as she was ducking in, and then she pounded her out from there. A really rough loss there, although professionally it's not too rough because Natalia Silva is kicking ass and taking names. I feel like I say that for a lot of fighters, but with Natalia Silva, it's so true, and she just looks better and better with each fight. So, not a lot of shame in losing to Natalia Silva like that. But still, Bleda, she's got to tighten everything up here, and she's got to really, develop a wrestling game that she can use at the UFC level. Because here she's fighting better fighters. It's not going to be like the girl she's fought on the regional scene, where, double legs are working for her in the center of the octagon. It'd be awesome if they did, but you see really good wrestlers like Jazz Davicius have trouble with that. So Tereza Bleda's got to cultivate a really good wrestling game if she's going to complement that top game of hers, And Tereza Bleda has a win in an exhibition fight over Lucia Pudilova, which is a 9-minute fight, 3-minute rounds, and that's a fight that, I shouldn't say it favors the inexperienced fighter, but it's the only type of fight that doesn't favor the experienced fighter, because all you need is one takedown, one moment, you win the round. And Bleda was able to toss Lucia Pudilova around in that fight. So, and that was her at 19 years old, I believe. So she's, that does nothing for her professionally, but it does a lot for her as her, for her development as a fighter, being in there and winning against a girl like Lucia Pudilova. She does have a good shot. Like I said, she does have good wrestling. I just worry about that shot being there for her throughout her UFC career. She's pretty tight on the feet. She's longer and taller than probably everybody, and she is tight. She will press you and throw a lot of straight punches, which I like. She maintains the distance control there, but it's all a means to an end. She wants to get the fight to the ground. She wants to be on top of you, and I don't think that's changed since her last fight with Natalia Silva. It's probably only been emphasized since then. So that's going to be her game plan. I do think if Bleda is able to get Gabriella Fernandes down, she has a good chance of getting a finish. If she's able to take her down like Jazz Davicius did, I think it won't, she's got a much better chance of getting a finish. Jazz Davicius is an overall better fighter and a much better wrestler, let's say, but Bleda on top is very aggressive. She's much more dangerous in the submission realm, no doubt about it, and she's good from her back, too. Even if you find yourself on the top, on top, if you reverse position, she is not out of it at all. She's slick enough on the ground, submission-wise. And I think Bleda, if she's on top of Gabrielle, she could get a finish here late in this fight. I'd see even late in round 1 if she was on top of her for the whole round. But if not, if she continually takes her down, I think she could break anybody, really, to be honest. So I'll be looking to play Bleda by finish, but as of right now, I've loved playing Gabriella Fernandes. I got to be honest. Tereza Bleda is a very young and experienced fighter, and Gabriella Fernandes, even though she's not Natalia Silva, I think she can fight. She can utilize some of those advantages Natalia Silva had. I do think she's faster than Bleda. A lot of fighters are faster. Bleda is like a lumbering, tall, slow fighter. Reminds me of some monster from the old Castlevania games. I can't remember it. But that's how Bleda is on the feet. She's long, tall, throws straight punches, tries to make the most of her stand-up with her height and reach. But she's not a great striker. Gabriella Fernandes is the better striker. Certainly over the course of 15 minutes, I trust her more on the feet. And overall, I give a cardio advantage to Gabriella. This is all speculation. I have to see them lose a few fights first. But I do think, just having seen Tereza Bleda lose the once and watching her work rate drop, I'd expect Gabriella to pull ahead towards the end here. So I like betting on Gabriella Fernandes. I bet on her already at plus 210. And once the prop bet's open, I'll look to see if Bleda by finish, is juicy, especially in the middle or the end of the fight. I think if she continually takes her down, she's a monster on top. But I guess the prediction, I'll go with I'll go with Bleda, but I'm betting on Gabriella Fernandes. She's very much in this fight, and I think they just got the odds wrong here. Every now and then they just get it wrong, and here I think they got this one wrong. I know it's all a matter of projections and whatever, and I think very highly of Tereza Bleda. Like if she's, if she's firing on all cylinders and everything's going right for her, I think she's got a lot more upside. I think she's just fucking deadly on top. But she's still 21, inexperienced, and fighting a girl who's shown to be pretty tough, Gabriella Fernandes. She's shown to be tough in victory and defeat, and she seems like a formidable foe. So that's the play. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.